Disney Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 Episode 5. Feels a little weird to be this far, but with a 3-episode premiere of the season, it kind of gets us to that point. Last episode felt very, very fillery, and not in a good way. It just felt very pointless, except for the last scene where Crosshair and Omega reunited with Hunter and Wrecker, and it seemed very quick, but they reunited and it left us there. And it could have probably just been added to the one beforehand. The whole last episode really didn't need to happen, in my opinion. This episode, however, it's a little slow. Not that much really happens, but I think it's definitely more important and better than the last one. And I actually think it's my favorite episode of the season. And it's honestly because of only one character, and that is Crosshair. Crosshair is the best character of this show by far, and he kind of has been the whole show. If there's any standout characters of this show, it is Crosshair. So we start out the episode with Omega waking up in the ship. She's all happy. She's home, wondering where Crosshair is, and they're just I think they're back at that freaking island or whatever. That I don't know. I don't remember much of the island thing from last season. I try not to. I remember it not being good, but I think they're back at that island again. And Crosshair's not in the ship, so she goes to find Crosshair, and he's practicing sniping, and, they continue to show his hand that is shaking. And that is something that has been happening now with Crosshair, at least this season has been. I don't exactly know what happened. I think it's maybe because of the testing and whatever they did to him. Just all the torture and, the explosion that he had earlier in the show. Everything that's been happening to him, I think, is just kind of catching up to him. And I think it's especially the testing at Tantus that really did something to him. I don't know if it's really been made clear yet what that is exactly, but his hand is starting to shake, and it actually looks like it may be affecting his ability to snipe, which is not a good thing because that's his one big main asset, that he's able to, shoot things really, really well. So we get reunited with Echo because Echo has been sent off with Rex. I don't know why they did that. I never know why they did that. Sending Echo off with Rex somewhere, but then not showing it. That's always been confusing to me. Like, I get it. It makes sense and it's fine. It's like, I like Rex. Go send him off with Rex and do stuff. But he no longer feels part of the team to me. Whenever I see him now, it just feels like he's there to bring him on a mission real quick and then disappear again. That's how Echo feels. But he comes in with the ship. He's not with Rex, so we don't see Rex this episode. But it just feels weird now with Echo because he leaves to go and help Rex. But we don't actually see that story with Rex. We never see it until it's very important, and then they all get together. But generally, we never see anything. We never see anything with Rex with Echo. We never see that story. And it just feels very strange to me. I don't like it. And he feels very out of place. The whole thing was just basically to get the whole crew back together finally, without Tech, of course, but now everyone is together in one place finally. So essentially, they want to get more information on the Tantus place, probably to free all the clones. And they have the data pad from Nala Se, but they have no way to access it. So there is a place that Crosshair does know, and he tells them that I can get you there, and I know where to go. There's a facility. And then when they're about to go on the mission, they're splitting up, a few people, and Hunter is trying to split up on who's going to stay behind and who's going to go with them. He wants to leave Wrecker and Omega behind, and once again, I feel like that's a good idea. But it's the same exact scenario that I have seen in this entire freaking show. This entire time is Hunter being serving Omega. He never puts the law down and just says, no, you're not going, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not going to do it, I'm going to keep you safe. He's literally just taking orders from Omega in this entire show. Hunter is probably one of the worst characters of this show. He is not a good character. He's not a leader. He's never felt like a leader. He's very, very bland, and he's just kind of there to serve Omega's will. And that's literally been him this entire series, and I'm tired of it. I really, really am. This kid took over the entire show. It's almost like Grogu with The Mandalorian. This kid took over this entire show right from the beginning when we thought it would be something else, and then now she is literally the core part of what drives this group now instead. And she just basically commands everything at this point. Oh, but, I want to go help them. And then they go help that person. And she wants to go do this. And ultimately they go and do that because Hunter is just willing to go along with it because he doesn't want to say no. So I'm just sick of it. It's the same damn scenario every episode with this show, and it's just old. Before they go on their mission, Wrecker does bring Crosshair his armor, and I think everything with Crosshair in this episode is probably the best parts. He brings him his old armor, so that's kind of cool. And you're like, okay, we're gonna get the old Crosshair back. It's starting to come back to us now. He's got the old armor again, and once they get to this place, it's the old place that Crosshair was at with the Empire. I think it's the episode with the snow and where the Imperials killed the trooper, and the trooper like died. I don't know if they killed him or he died. I don't exactly remember. They like didn't help him when they basically narrowly escaped in the weather and the conditions, and that's when he killed the Imperial officer in that episode. I don't remember everything, but that's the one big thing I do remember, is that they let the one clone trooper die that he became friendly with, and then he killed the officer after he let him die. And that's how Crosshair basically betrayed the Empire. So that whole big episode with Crosshair, I think I really liked that episode. But we're back to that exact same like Imperial facility now. It's been abandoned now. So I guess they're done operating there, but he is aware of that area and where to go. So it's an area where they can plug in the stupid pad. Crosshair walks out with his old armor on. I really love to see that. Crosshair is the best part of this show, and him not in it would have made this show just not even watchable to any extent. Like, he is the only thing that keeps this show somewhat interesting to me at this point. You got some feuding between Hunter and Crosshair, and of course Echo, just coming into this episode now, is the guy to basically keep the fighting at bay for a little bit. They enter the facility. You can see the helmets from the clone troopers that died during that episode, and you can see the helmet there. I don't remember the clone trooper's name, but it's the trooper that was with him, and his helmet is there. Crosshair goes in the other room. He sets the helmet up and just kind of honors him, I suppose. He starts to lift a few of the other clone helmets up as well. That is something that Hunter does see on his, without Crosshair knowing, and it's just like the little character moments there to building Crosshair back up to kind of being with the crew again, and seeing that Crosshair has made mistakes and he still feels something for the clones, and he feels more for the clones than he ever did for the Empire, and that's kind of something they're trying to convey. In this episode, they end up shutting off this like sound barrier that is around the facility that basically kept things at bay, like it kept creatures out, and it emits a high-pitched noise, and they turn it off. I don't know if it was like to plug in the data pad that they had, but they turn it off and then plug in their pad. I don't know how much information they necessarily got out of it, but of course, when they turned off the things, it's going to create another issue. So we'll get to that in a moment. We got one more feud between Crosshair and Hunter, and they spat a few times. Then a big monster shoots out of the ground because they turned off the sound barriers for the facility. So now there's another monster they have to fight. Because that's all they can do in this show, is just have big monsters to fight in every single episode. And just fight it. Because, why fight the Empire when you could just fight random monsters everywhere, every episode? It's so boring. So they have to fight off this big worm monster, and they decide that they need to lead it back out of the facility and lead it past the barrier. So Hunter and Crosshair go out there to try and do that. Hunter falls into the pit, like the caves that the thing is making, and he continues to lure the monster away from the facility. And as they're doing that, Crosshair and the stupid dog creature that they now have as well try to dig Hunter out before the worm thing can get to him. And they do that. They turn the thing back on. The monster is at bay now. They got away from it, and everything's happy. And Hunter and Crosshair have kind of made up in some sort of way. They're starting to have little nods to each other. I think that's cool. We do get one final scene with Crosshair and Hunter too, about, I've done terrible things, Hunter. I've made mistakes. I thought the Empire, I was doing good things and I was being a good soldier, and he's kind of realizing that that was a mistake, and I've made mistakes, I've done bad things. And Hunter tells him the whole thing of like, we've all done bad things, we've all done things we regret, and there's always hope. Hope to do better and whatnot. And that's kind of a good message there at the end. It really is. But like, generally that's kind of the only good thing is the Crosshair stuff of this episode. as much as I, just haven't really liked Hunter in this whole show, it was a good episode with Hunter and Crosshair coming together again for some new little mission that they have to do, just to kind of fight together again. And I did think that was good. Crosshair is easily the best character of this show, and I'm glad he's still around. I thought for a while they would kill him off a while back. They could still kill him off, but right now he's still around. Tech, I hope Tech stays dead. People should stay dead. And I just don't see a reason to bring him back. And I think a few more people need to die in this show too. Because it just feels like they should. I don't know where the Bad Batch crew can really go from here. We'll see where the season goes, but Crosshair, again, the best part of this show by far. Omega, one of the worst parts of the show. And that's all I really got to say. This is a good Crosshair episode, I suppose. But it's nothing special. It's nothing like super memorable. And it's just another Bad Batch episode. I guess it's on the good end of a Bad Batch episode. If you want to, whatever that means to you, that's what it felt like to me. The show has not been the Clone Wars sequel, the great Clone Wars sequel that it tries to claim itself as. Like, it's just not. It's not as good as the Clone Wars was. It hasn't been. There's been a few good episodes here and there throughout the whole show, but it really isn't moving that fast this season so far. I'm sure it will. We're going to get some final storylines here, and I'm sure it's going to ramp up, but it's a pretty basic episode, good Crosshair episode, and that's really the only thing that was good about it.